If you want to cross to the other side, you have to pick a portal and walk through. The work is about transcending. The work takes me from one worldview into another worldview. It is a process of moving beyond what I think I know. But transcending is difficult to do without a portal. A portal is a doorway to another world. There are many portals, and in doing the work, any stressful situation with its corresponding stressful thought is a portal. If used properly, it can open up a completely different experience. I love the clarity this can bring. The first step in finding a portal is to look for a situation where a stressful emotion came up. This is the indication that a portal is available. One just popped open and it's ready for you to walk through. How do you know? Stress. I felt the emotion. Many times people want to roll all kinds of different stressful situations together and their thoughts about them all together into one big conglomerate. This is an approach that is very common when writing a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet. The mind pulls from many different situations and throws everything but the kitchen sink into the worksheet. So what you're left with is a bunch of stressful ideas all thrown at the paper, and it's kind of a mess, and there's not just one portal. The result is a kind of muddled kind of worksheet. It contains a little of this, a little of that, but it's not too focused. This is not a portal. A muddled worksheet contains lots of potential portals, but it doesn't make it easy to pass through all of them. If you try to pass through, if you think about passing through a portal, it's like one little hole, a little doorway. And if you pick that doorway, you walk through it, you get to the other side. But if you have many portals and you're trying to pass through all of them at the same time, it'd be like trying to pass through many doors at the same time. It's like trying to pass through a sieve, which is fine if you're water and you can break up into many different parts and go through. But if you're one person, you need to have one door in which to go through. So what happens is when you're doing something with a lot of portals, you've got a really general idea of the work and you have lots of different situations all muddled together. It's like a bunch of doorways and you end up going through none of them. It's like hitting a wall. So choosing a portal is the very first step of doing the work. Even before writing a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet or making a list of one-liners to question, the first step is to land on one thing. Otherwise, the mind will get blocked trying to pass through all the portals of the sieve simultaneously. This means landing on one stressful thought, if there are many, and landing on one exemplary stressful situation if the stressful thought spans a lot of time. It doesn't matter if you start with a stressful thought and find the situation, or start with a stressful situation and find the stressful thought. But either way, these are the two components of a portal, a specific moment in time and a specific thought about what's happening in that moment. Two ways of landing on a portal. One, starting with a stressful situation. In this way of landing, life has brought me to a specific stressful situation without me doing anything. These kinds of situations show up all the time. I recognize them by the stressful emotions that arise in these moments. That's when I start paying attention. I ask myself, what's going on here? What's stressing me? And I start looking for the micro moment when I felt the stress. Often it is not just one moment, but there can be several. For example, if I see someone I'm trying to avoid, the stressful moment could be when I first see them, or it could be later when I get trapped by them in a conversation. But maybe there are several different moments within that conversation where I felt especially stressed. Each of these moments could be a different portal. So just because you have one person, just because you've narrowed it down to one situation that happened over 5 or 10 minutes, doesn't mean you've actually found a portal. You've found a kind of portal, but you can get a little closer. And that's what I encourage you to do. The thought I identify is going to be directly related to what they were saying in that moment. Now I'm getting closer. I'm starting to move into the portal now. Then I continue into the portal by writing my whole Judge Your Neighbor worksheet on this main one thing that's bothering me in that one moment in that 1 millisecond when they said that one remark. Now I've landed. Now I have a portal, and now I can write a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet that is going to just shoot me right through that portal when I do my work. So the other way of landing on a portal is to start with a stressful thought. This is different from starting with a stressful situation. Once you find the situation, then you can easily find the thought. But sometimes you start with a thought and work backwards to find a situation. In this case, I start with a general thought about someone or something. I may not have a specific moment in mind yet. Maybe it's something they do all the time, or maybe it's more of an abstract conclusion arising from observing them over time. I can question that thought in general, but it's often hard to get very far without finding something more specific. In fact, if I do make a breakthrough while working with a general thought, I usually notice that I have unconsciously been touching on specifics while working. I've been slipping through one or more specific portals, and that's what's actually making the general work work. So it's the specific that gives the power to the work. I can do this unconsciously, but I prefer to do it consciously. And the way I do it is to look at my general stressful thought before I start questioning it and see if I can find a specific instance when it was activated. Maybe it's a general belief about someone. Maybe I scan through my mind and I'm looking for I see this general idea about somebody, they're a particular way, maybe they're mean or something. And then I look for a specific instance if I can find it. When was the last time they were mean to me? Or what is the one that stands out in my mind? Find a specific instance. And then when I do, I have that kind of proof. This is the one instance that proves my theory that is more general. So go to that specific. When I find an instance, then I use the same approach as in method 1, which is now I have a situation, and I can even narrow it down tighter. Maybe I can, maybe I can't, but I'll get as specific as I can, and I'll end up with a moment to hold where that person said or did something or thought something that has set me off. And so I do my work on this general theory now in a very specific situation. I've now found a portal, once again, to slip through. So have you picked a portal? Or have you just picked a peck of pickled peppers? I invite you to experiment with this approach and to land on just one thing. This is so important. I can't think of anything that makes the work better than this one idea. Pick a portal, pick a situation, find a specific moment, and find a specific thought that you were thinking in that particular moment about that particular person or thing. Just one thought within one moment. And this allows the work to take you through to the other side once you've entered through this portal and have begun to do your work. If you'd like to get hands-on practice about writing worksheets like this with clear instructions, then I invite you to take the Work 101 course, which is a part of my Inquiry Circle group, and it can be a great way to deepen your practice and just get even more effective in your ability to identify your stressful thoughts and then question them. And I'll end with a quote from Byron Katie's book, 1,000 Names for Joy. When we go inside and truly meet those thoughts with understanding, the thoughts change. They're seen through. And then, if they ever rise again, we just experience clarity, a clarity that includes everyone.